welcome to the special event by Punjabi Chambers of Commerce Vancouver Chapter. I'm Navneet Bagga. You can call me Nav. I'm the co-chair of PCC Vancouver, and I'm thrilled to have you all join us today. Like the session focuses on teaching entrepreneurship to young Punjabis in Canada. I feel it's a vital to our community's growth and success, and this is probably maybe the first of the many series of sessions we plan to take up, and we hope this is being recorded can be then kind of shared briefly parts of what is relevant to people who couldn't join. So uh, I'm really glad to be kind of doing this, and we're really honored to have welcome Siddharth Singh here. So I'm sure I'll just give him a brief background about himself. He'll give more details about himself with an introduction. So he's a co-founder and CEO of Novella. It's a platform which helps in business to engage with customers. He has lots of experience in tech. He successfully has now kind of scaled Novella and is leading the customer engagement platform. We're really happy to kind of have Siddharth here, and Siddharth will be sharing his inspiring journey and offering valuable insights. So over to you, Siddharth.
Nav, thank you so much for the introduction, and I'm really excited to be here with the team to talk about this amazing topic, right? Entrepreneurship for young Punjabis in Canada. I think the Indo-Canadian diaspora in Canada is really big, and I think the Punjabis, since we started moving here, we've done amazingly well from starting our own businesses, whether that is something as basic as getting a truck on the road, right, becoming a driver, and then building from there to have a fleet of hundreds of trucks. We've seen those situations of successes as well. We've seen technology entrepreneurs in Canada doing really well. Vancouver has become a hub where there's a lot of investment coming in, and I think now is a really good time where I think the baby boomers are retiring and they're moving out of their businesses. So there is tremendous potential for millennials and young folks to find really good opportunities within the realm of entrepreneurship, whether that is starting businesses from scratch or identifying and finding businesses which already exist out in the world, right? But the owners, they're getting at an age where they want to retire or they want to, slow down a little bit. This is where young blood can essentially come in and bring in new creative ideas, can pull the right kind of operational financial levers to grow that business and make it worthwhile. So the aim of this presentation for us is really to dive into very from a high level perspective, dive into what is it that an entrepreneur has to do, right? How does one set up their company? How do they ensure that the business structure they're setting up is correct, right? Whether that is proprietorship, partnership, whether you're setting up a corporation, those kind of things. So we'll try and dive into some of those topics just to have fun with it and understand how one goes about it. So again, really excited to be chatting about this topic. It's something really close to my heart obviously, as an entrepreneur. So do feel free to pause me, ask any questions as we run through this. I would rather this be a session where we're collaborating and discussing rather than me imparting information one side. Right. So before I go into right, this is just a bit of a disclaimer that we're doing it as a nonprofit organization to help young professionals. And if you want to pursue this path, whatever I'm sharing is just information. So I would recommend you seek legal, accounting, and business professional advice as you make these kind of decisions. Now, these are some of the topics that I want to cover, right? Why entrepreneurship? What are the business structures that you can set up? How do you build a business plan, right? Once you build a business plan, you can reach out to different investors and different funding and grants opportunities, right? You want to ensure that whatever business you're setting up is correctly registered, has the right kind of licenses, and the relevant authorizations that are required for you to operate legally. How do you market and brand yourself within the market that you're operating in, right? So there's some ideas and things around that. So this is kind of a high level agenda that we'll follow now. Why entrepreneurship? These are my four kind of reasons and rationale behind deciding to take this path, right? There is a tremendous impact that you can have on the community, right? I can be my own boss. I can carve my own path out. That was a big driver for me. Along with that comes tremendous amount of independence that entrepreneurs can have. To get to that point does take a little bit of time, so you do have to keep that in mind. But you are contributing to the economy at the grassroots level by employing folks and by generating translating ideas and effort into actual tangible solutions that you can sell to your clients and your customers. And obviously, there's tremendous amount of flexibility and personal fulfillment. Anytime you grow anything from an idea to an actual existing business that people are willing to pay money for, I think that personal fulfillment really, I think just maybe parenthood comes close to it, but nothing else. I don't think in my mind comes close to that. So find out your own reason, your own root cause, your own personal driver, right? What motivates you, what excites you, what gets you out of the bed, right? Find that reason, because entrepreneurship can be a very lonely journey if the only driver is money. But if you have a motive, if you have a mission and a vision in place, then I think having right kind of financial support in place and right having the entire family in it together is a really critical requirement to dive into the world of business, essentially, right? And you want to be doing it for the right reasons and within the right frameworks. When we talk about frameworks, right, is it just you? Are you the business where you spend your time doing contracting, right? You can knock on the doors, right, and you can sell uh, landscaping, right, holiday lighting setup. There's so many different services that you can sell. As an individual, you can do it collaboratively as well. You might have a partner, could be a 50-50 partner. Maybe you're 80%, they're only 20%, right? So different legal entities and different frameworks exist that will protect you, not just from, how much of the business does one person own versus the other. It is also about what kind of liability you're getting exposed to as a person. If you make a bad decision on the business side of things, is there a potential you might lose your house because your house is a part of the collateral and so many other things? So seek that legal advice. Understand when you sign up and build a business or start a business, right? What is your level of risk exposure when you're signing up? Corporations are something where you'll have more formal structures in place, more paperwork that you have to do, more governance that you need to do, but it does provide more enhanced protections to the shareholders, essentially. There are some examples that are not on the screen. Non-profits are one. So if you're interested in setting up non-profits, you can do that as well. There's a legal channel to pursue those avenues. So if you're deciding entrepreneurship, right, why do you want to be an entrepreneur, right? And then what kind of business structure will be right for you? Um, and then what kind of business do you want to do, right? Do you want to build a technology software company? Do you want to build a services company? Within services company, are you catering to businesses? Are you catering to direct customers? You have to think through all of that, right? Where will the expenditures be? Where will the revenues come in from? How will you deliver consistent service day after day, right? Will you have employees? Will they have some kind of training in place? So you have to document all of that. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to cross the T's and dot the I's, meaning you don't need to have all the answers as you get started, but you need to directionally know that I want to go north for 5 kilometers, and then I want to, go east for 3-4 kilometers. Vaguely, I'm going to be going north and then east, right? Northeast, 7-8 kilometers that way. So as long as you know directionally where you want to go, there are some templates. I really like BDC. BDC Bank, I think, is really supportive of early stage entrepreneurs. So if you're looking to either buy a business or start a business, it's always a really good practice to reach out to 4 or 5 commercial bankers. Commercial bankers are essentially bankers who provide you with commercial advice on um, M&A or finance related activities as it pertains to, you want to start a business, right? That business, you might, let's say, a restaurant, so you need to find a lease. For that, you need some money. You need to set up that restaurant, right? Have your own branding, your own merchandise, everything within. So for that, you need money. For that, you need bankers, right? So you need to have a financial plan in place and a operating plan that you can share with the bankers, and they can give you advice and guidance on how to ensure that you have a robust business plan before you start spending money, before you start spending time. So uh, this is where I think Punjabi Chamber of Commerce has has done a good job in the past, and should do more moving forward, is where I think lots of mentors from Punjabi Chamber of Commerce can essentially support young entrepreneurs during those early, couple years. So I think there are programs which are being set up. You'll likely get to hear about that in the near future. So, um, steps to register a business now that you want to have this business. This is the business plan. This is how you make money. This is how you'll deliver value. This is how your processes and your operations will work. Um, you think of a name, right? You have to do that check. So what we've done is we've added links within the presentation, and this presentation will be, I believe, shared somehow, or we can email it out. BC name request. This is specific since I am out of British Columbia here, Vancouver. I've added in the links which are more specific to BC, but Ontario will have, similar links where you can check the name. If the name is available, and you can get the registry done. You'll get a business number, which is a CRA number. From this business number, you can get your GST numbers and other pertinent numbers as well. You can check what kind of licenses and permits you're going to require. Uh, Licenses and permits can be different based on what industry you're operating in, right? Food will have different license requirements compared to construction. One thing you want to ensure is you are registering with, whatever the WSB WorkSafe entity is within your province, WorkSafe BC. You need to sign up with them, and then obviously, GST, PST, all the relevant taxes and stuff. You need those licenses as well. In majority of cases, you also want to sign up and register with the city as well, just to ensure compliance. Now, going back to that journey, right? You know the why behind your desire to be an entrepreneur. You know what are the different kind of setups, whether it's a proprietorship or a partnership or a corporation. You've got a business plan in place, right? You've got all the relevant licenses. Now you want to be reaching out to different grants and different funding. So bank loans are good opportunities. Angel investors, early on, family and friends can provide some capital as you want to get started. And then obviously there are a lot of government grants available. These grants are available at multitude of levels, especially in Canada. It's amazing. You compare it with India, you compare it with Canada, compare it with states. I think Canada has a lot of small business initiatives and grants, which subsidies on hiring labor. You can get 70-80% of the salaries of these employees back as grants and those kind of things. So explore those things. There are shared credits available and a bunch of different things. Build a list of angel investors, right? Both local investors. This is where you can reach out to the entire pool of Punjabi Chamber of Commerce, right? Hound and pester those more experienced entrepreneurs to provide you with the support, with the guidance, with the opportunities to find funding within your local network as well. So it's really important that you have a solid game plan on how the business will survive for the first, 24 to 36 months at the very minimum. And then from there, it can take off as you generate more traction. But make sure you have a good plan in place before you take that dive. There are funding programs available. Again, the links are in here that you can click on, and these links take you to further set of links. And then a majority of the times, especially on government grants, these are time bound grants which you have to apply by certain deadlines, and these deadlines are repeating, meaning they come every fiscal year. There's a pool of money which is available, and entrepreneurs, they write a proposal, a business case, a pitch, right, and submit that application, and sometimes the feedback is fairly prompt, and within 1 to 2 to 3 months, you can actually have funds in your bank account from the government to get started on whatever the business plan is that you pitched on, essentially. So keep an eye out on those. This is a really good free resource to get your ball rolling, essentially. Some businesses I've thrown in the import export bit here, especially because I think there are a lot of services based and consumer goods based businesses where we do import from India and from other places in Canada, and for that you need to make sure that CBSA is the agency that you want to register with. So you have your licenses of the business, everything is set up, and this is something in addition that you need to get, and only then you can import and export specific things. And then obviously you have to be cognizant of the tariffs and everything that you have to pay. So there's a resource in here. You can click on it. It'll take you to additional information where you can sign up eventually. The way we've tried to set up this presentation and the slides are, so all of these hyperlinks should be clickable for you and open all the relevant resources. So if you decide to essentially move forward on this path, you have the resources readily available.
Okay, I was thinking if I can ask a question, right? So
yeah, no.
Yeah, so just a kind of curiosity, kind of understanding this. So when you said you can, previous slide, when you say you have to register with CBSA, how long does that take? And then essentially, what are the prerequisites if somebody needs to have certain minimum net worth or the background of how much of what is required on financial, non-financial background, so do they, when you say compliance with CBSA, what sort of compliances are they trying to kind of check with?
Yeah, that's a great question. Now I run a technology company, so I haven't had the opportunity or the pleasure to get
Anything with services.
license.
I'm sorry, I know I understand maybe experiences are different with different sectors and knowledge is slightly varied, but if you have what you can explain with services, that will be great enough.
Yeah, I can tell you I have looked into this at some point in time. Never did proceed any further, but I did go on the CBSA website. I think they have forms available where you can register and you can submit your application to get that import-export license. Obviously, they require you to fill that form out and provide that information. Now, in terms of timelines, I know folks who've set up their distribution businesses. They're importing, spices and a bunch of other Indian, brands, Haldirams and a few other brands, importing those in, and they got their licenses and their business, this food distribution business set up within 12 to 18 months. They were operational, meaning they had shipments coming in and deliveries happening. And somewhere within that time frame, I think they got approval from CBSA as well. So I suspect that's like the longest timeline, I think 12 months, but I imagine it should not take that long, especially because they're incentivized to give you those licenses because they think of this as a revenue generating activity for the crown, right? But we never know with government agencies. Things you think will take 2 months can sometimes take 20 months. Yeah, no doubt.
No, thank you for being. I think I understand that. Like this is how it functions here, and we have to be kind of more aware of this. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So now marketing and branding is such a personal thing, right? Depends on what kind of industry you're in, what your personal preferences are, what are your motivators and drivers, right? How do you want to differentiate yourself from your competitors?
Mm.
So slowly and steadily, I think consistency is the key. Whatever it is that you do, you have to repeat it over and over again so people understand that that is what your move is, that is what your motion is, that is who you are as an entity, as a human being, as a company. And I think that is a big driver for growth. I think if you wake up every day and do the same thing, then people have more trust in you. They see you as more of an expert, as a reliable person. So those are the things that you have to continue doing. Obviously, nowadays with AI and all the tools which are available, reaching out to your potential clients and everything through social media, email marketing, cold calling, SEO, those kind of things has become so much easier now, right?
Mm.
Um, it's pennies on the dollar from
Yeah.
what it was 5, 10 years ago. And then obviously, we are talking in terms of Punjabi Chamber of Commerce. So network within the Punjabi business community. I found I've only been in Vancouver about a little less than 3 years, and I found lots of people are willing to talk. Lots of people are willing to support you and introduce you within their network to other people who can help you pursue your dream. It's really up to you as an entrepreneur. You'll not have a boss, right? You don't have a business that is fully up and running yet. You're in those early days, so you have to network, network, network. It's really about more people, more opportunities come out of that. Be humble, be patient, continue repeating your magic day after day. And then that's, I think, really my advice on the branding piece of it. Obviously, it's always organic and always growing. Uh, Once you're up and running, there are, small business BC provides you with advice as well. They'll provide you with subsidized bookkeeping services and bunch of other things which you would think that, oh my God, how am I going to do this? But you'll realize that there is support and ecosystems available that you can tap into. um, and obviously, keep upskilling yourself, things that you don't know. Find those on Linda Learning, LinkedIn Learning, Khan Academy, and those kind of resources, right? I think that those are good um, sources of information that you can rely on to upskill and things. Now, obviously, it's not easy to start a business. There are lots of challenges
Mhm.
that we run into. I think the biggest ones are really um, I don't know where I'll get that money from, right, to start a business. It's a big leap that we have to take. So apply for grants, make sure you have a good credit history, you have some savings in place, you hopefully have a spouse who has a secure job, or you have some money coming in from the family to support you, or you have really low expenses that you're staying at home with your parents so you can take those risks early on, whatever it might be, right? Try and eliminate that lack of funding as being a barrier. Some businesses obviously require, hundreds of thousands of dollars of investment, but some businesses you can start with just investing your time and your effort into it, right? Start somewhere, start small, and then go from there, right? The second piece, the second challenge is always regulations, business, right? Oh my God, I'll have to file so many documents, paperwork. I don't know how to do taxes on a personal basis, let alone now I have a corporation or a company. How do I file taxes? That'll become expensive and things like that. So again, um, consult with legal professionals. I always say reach out to 4 or 5 people from a legal professional side. You'll get their advice, so that way you're not having to spend money to learn. Learning should always be free, so be efficient with using government resources. Like I mentioned throughout the last few slides, there's a lot of resources available. Tap into that. um, and then obviously the third thing becomes, okay, sure, I have the money, I can file my taxes. How will I consistently deliver? How will I consistently market? That is where I think you have to differentiate yourself and learn what are the free tools that you can use, how can you network, how can you continue working on growing your business rather than just working in the business as an employee, essentially. So there are challenges, but you have to overcome them. This is a slide, just a reminder that these three big challenges, right? We need money to grow, we need to stay compliant, and we need to continue growing and reaching new audiences and new people, right? These are challenges that everyone faces, so nothing new there. Final tips, next steps, I think seek mentorship. Make sure you stay up to date. There's lots of resources that keep coming in. As governments change, as new laws come to be, there are new pools of funding that are made available that only last for a short term, but can provide substantial benefits if you're in the right industry at the right time, wanting to do the right thing and those kind of things. And then obviously, you want to keep learning and networking. That's always a big driver for your both personal and professional growth. And then last but not least, I think it's really about ensuring that you do it for the right reasons. As you become an entrepreneur, make sure that you are doing all these things on a consistent basis, right? Once you get in the rhythm, then obviously, progress happens from there on. Gurmanpreet, thoughts?
Yes, as Nav was talking about the timing of registering a business, is it same for every province? I think it will be different, right? If we are registering a provincial business.
Yeah, so you will register a business at a province level. So let's say you're in Ontario, right? You'll register it with Ontario. You will have a CRA number.
Mhm.
You'll also apply for a GST number with the province itself. And from
Mhm.
there, you essentially have all the bare minimum things that you require to be operational as a business. Now, applying for the name check, 2 to 3 days,
Mhm.
I think you can expedite it if you pay 50 or $100, something like that more.
Yeah,
Um,
I
the
think.
registry itself takes a week or 10 days, I think. So within 2 weeks, you can have all the relevant licenses and paperwork in place to start operating your business.
Hmm. Yes.
Import export might take a little bit longer. Um,
Mhm.
you'll have to have probably a running business in place and then some additional information on what is it that you're going to be importing, who will you import it in from. So you need to be a little bit further ahead in the journey, but just to get the business up and running and register it at a provincial level should be a 2 week process.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nav, thank you for having me join you folks here today. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed putting together all the presentation here as well. I think I'm in agreement with you that on the Vancouver chapter side of things, we can make it a more recurring theme to reach out to more
Yeah.
young professionals in colleges and universities here. So yeah, let's team up in
Yeah.
2025 and get it done.
100%. All right. Thank you, Gurmanpreet. Thank you for that. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.